Coming to you live from my new apartment, it's the Matt L. Podcast. Our next guest is my friend Ben Biery. Hi, Ben.
Hi, Matt. How are you?
Good, how have you been?
Not bad, even though we asked that right before you turned on the camera, so it's kind of redundant. That's all
Um,
right.
so, I graduated from Plymouth State University in December of 2008, and you were in the class of 2008, right?
Yes, but I didn't graduate. I did the whole graduation thing. Um, what happened is, like the last semester, first of all, I had gotten some strange disease in Nicaragua that had taken about that had really done a number on me. And I felt strange after that. And throughout my senior year, I think it was towards the end of my senior year, I started developing a drug and alcohol problem. What I would do is, like, I don't know why, but like my confidence, my mojo started to go away because, I mean, you saw me in college. Like, I mean, I was kind of a ladies' man. I was a womanizer, you know. Like, did I come off as somebody who was kind of insecure?
Um, I remember some moments when you tried to make me laugh.
Yeah, but that's that comes from my upbringing. Like, for some reason, I feel the need to get attention by being outrageous. You know what I mean? It kind of comes from like not getting attention when I was growing up. So the only way I really know how to communicate and to get people to laugh or to like me is basically to be outrageous and to be kind of extreme. And I think that's part of the problem where the drug problem came in. I mean, it would start with I'd take a few shots of alcohol to go to bed, and then I would start taking shots of alcohol because I'd realized that I would be myself, because you know the old saying, like, alcohol brings out the truth in people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it would allow me to be myself a little, because as you can see, like, even talking right now, like, I'm kind of anxious, like, just I'm kind of like tense, and I gotta move my hands around a lot, so I kind of took that edge off. And over time, you gotta take a little more, and then and then the prescription problem came through. I mean, I'm an extreme insomniac, and where the problem with drugs started was not by getting it on the street or peer pressure or something like that. I got a prescription for Ambien. All right, it's a sleep drug, but what happened is I would take it, and the most peaceful, blissful, happy feeling would come about, and I could remember that, like, I would, after I took it, because my memory would be, shot to and give like saying like how much I love and appreciate them, basically just being overly affectionate to random people, because and then I would wake up and I would just look at my text messages sent inbox, and it would just be filled with really embarrassing things that I'd said and done, and because I'd be embarrassed about that, I'd take like alcohol, during the day. So, I use Ambien to sleep, and then to get rid of the embarrassment the next day, I would drink alcohol. So I'm using drugs to solve a problem that drugs started. And then, I found somebody who sold me Percocet. I started taking Percocet, and it wasn't when I was on the drugs, like Percocet specifically. When I was on Percocet, I was doing fine. It's when you don't have it, that's when the problems arise. And I ended up missing a few credits, and my professor wrote me an email, like, basically kind of outing me. Like, he said, "Do you realize the last time you were in class, you weren't actually in class, you were just staring out the window smiling?" I thought he'd just let you know. So, and then after that, I was jobless for a while, and because of that, like, I started gaining weight. And then I think about a year after college, I decided to commit suicide. So, because my life wasn't going anywhere. So what I did is I took a bunch of Ambien, other sleeping pills, just anything I could get my hands on, and just started downing it. And woke up in a perfect timing phone.
Yeah, that's just a sound effect. So, did you leave a note?
Hmm?
Did you leave a note?
No, it was kind of spontaneous. Like the girl I'd been dating at the time, she had gotten surgery for for her nose, I think, or her knee, or I don't know, nose or knee. I
Hmm.
completely forget. But she had a Percocet, which is it's an opiate painkiller.
Mm-hmm.
It's heroin in a pill, basically. Um, you've heard of that, right?
Yeah, I remember I had my wisdom teeth removed, and I took Endocet and Percocet.
Right. Did you get that really happy, blissful feeling?
Yeah, not really. It took the pain away, some of the pain away.
Well, all right, that's good. You're not an addict. But then again, you're Asian, so Asians, for some reason, genetically just don't seem to have drug and alcohol problems.
Yeah, but
Well,
we can't drink as many alcoholic drinks.
that's true. But so what would happen is she had this bottle of Percocet, right? And I'd just take one from it, when she wasn't looking. One or two, she's not going to notice that. And I'm like, well, if I can take, one or two, why not three? She's not going to notice that. And eventually it got to the point where I stole all of her drugs. And then, I just threw the bottle away because it would be better, when she asked, like, she goes, hey, did you see where my purse is? I'm like, no, I have no idea where it went, just lied through my teeth. And, stuff like that, like little things like that just build up, and it just plagues your conscience, and you constantly feel bad about it. And so, yeah, so I ended up attempting suicide. I woke up in the hospital, and I get sent to a loony bin for a week, and some of the characters in there, um, I can tell you that did not help at all.
Hmm.
I was this woman, I swear to God, all right, my first day there.
I believe you.
Oh no, my first day, all right, they put you in these humiliating clothes, like hospital clothes, and surrounded
Orange?
by like, legitimate nut jobs, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this woman, this old woman, all right, she had like how sometimes old lady get really saggy breasts and like they almost hang down to their knees. She comes up to me and she's yelling at me, and one of her breasts is hanging out of her breast, all right?
Yeah.
She goes, you're the devil. You're, and she's screaming at me, telling me that I'm the Antichrist and I'm the devil. And while she's doing this, her boob is jiggling and she's fucking foaming at the mouth. And so I just, I ran off and I hid in my bedroom, and I was just like, I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of here. And so I just basically faked it for a week that I was, feeling okay, even though I wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's, after there I started getting my life together. I saw a doctor who decided to put me on clonazepam. Now, clonazepam is a benzo. Now, benzos are, like, what do you think of when you think of hard drugs, man?
Oh, the drugs that make the news that everyone has heard of.
Right. Right, do you have questions there? You want to ask me something?
Yeah, but do you want to talk a little bit about benzo withdrawal?
Yeah, I mean, I don't care. Like, what's your first question?
Well, I just wanted to. I've done some research on Wikipedia about benzo diazepines.
Diazepine?
Diazepine and benzo withdrawal, and I wanted to run through the list of symptoms and ask you, which you had, whether or not you had severe sleep disturbance, but that might have been because of your insomnia.
Well, yeah. So after I got out of the hospital, I met this doctor who was, like, looking back on it now, I can't believe I was this dumb. It's, this doctor, he prescribed me clonazepam, and, but he would make me bring in the bottle each week so I could show him how many I had. So I didn't take too many, and I instantly felt better. It was like I was myself again. A week later, I got a job as a teacher's assistant, and was doing really well, or at least I think I was doing really well. But the problem is clonazepam, benzodiazepam, they don't last. They make you feel normal for a while, like you feel like yourself again, and then you need more. And this doctor had no problem increasing my doses. And that's when I started having symptoms of like seizures again. I'm also epileptic, and it's like at first it really helps bring you down from when you're having like a seizure aura, but since it's not as effective over a long time, you got to keep taking more and more and more and more, and over the course of I think a year, I got up to 5 milligrams a day of clonazepam. Now, what it does, it depresses the brain. It slows it down, okay? And then I went to a new doctor, and this new doctor said, you shouldn't be on this many and cut me cold turkey, which is stupid. It's very, very stupid. And that was 2 years ago, and I still don't really feel the same. I mean, afterwards, I had withdrawal seizures. I almost fell off a roof. I mean, it's bad. It's really bad. And and since your brain is so used to having this, it slows the brain down. So when you take it away, your brain is in overdrive. Like things just fire, and that's where the seizures and the anxiety and the terror comes from. And these trials will last years. And are far worse than cocaine and the sad thing about this is I didn't do anything illegal. This wasn't like I wasn't taking more than I should have. This was all from a doctor, so I've kind of come to not trust doctors.
So you said you take one pill and your self-esteem skyrockets. You make friends, you speak well, you're funny, but eventually, like a credit card, you have to pay it all back to the devil.
Yes. Exactly.
He solved...
Think of it...
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yes. Well, you don't drink at all, do you, Matt?
No.
Have you ever?
Yes.
Alright, have you ever been buzzed or drunk?
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright, so, like maybe, a little bit of alcohol, it's not going to kill you. You're not going to, really wake up with a hangover, but if you drink, a lot of alcohol, you're going to feel really good. You're going to probably say, and do stupid things that are kind of in the back of your head, but you normally wouldn't do sober, even though, there's a lot of truth to them. Like, you might go up to a girl and be like, you're so gorgeous and this and that. And even though you wouldn't have said that sober, you still mean it. But the next day you wake up with a hangover and you feel, and that's usually the end of it, probably about a day. But I mean, I imagine just week after week, month after month, it becomes years. You just keep taking more and more and more and more. And it's almost like you see this as a recurring theme on like so many kids shows, TV shows that you ask the devil for a favor and he'll make things perfect. Like, all your problems go away, and then something awful happens. You have to pay it back. You become, it's almost like you become in debt to this stupid little pill that you're not in control of anymore. It controls you, and you pay for it. You pay for it with long, painful, awful withdrawals.
I think that hearing your story and what you have to say might help someone out there who watches this video. What was it like? Did you really get the bubonic plague when you were 22 years old?
Yes and no. Um, that's what they diagnosed me as. That's what they said I had. And there's so many different variations to the bubonic plague, and they said like a week later they did like tests, and they said that it wasn't the specific type of bubonic plague they thought it was, and that they need to test to further make sure that it was this other type of plague. So I got some sort of plague, um, and I just tell people it was the bubonic plague so they can get a sense of what I went through,
Yeah.
and because that's what they diagnosed it as. And
So what was it like?
this interview is all over the place, man.
Hey, I'm just going based on my questions. So what was it like having the kind of plague that you had?
Well, I started developing. My lymph nodes started swelling up in my legs and my neck, and I work out a lot, so I figured my muscles are just sore from exercising or whatever. I had no idea that it had to do with that I had some sort of disease, and it was like I had a mild fever, maybe like 99 for a little while, and then it was like within an hour it went from like 99 to 100 to 100 and 100 to just skyrocketed. And so we went to a physician, checked it out. They sent me home, and we get a call from them immediately saying you need to go to the hospital, there's something not right here. And I went through a week of torture. It was awful. I cannot describe how painful and how torturous the bubonic plague is. It's my fever skyrocketed to about 104, 100. I mean, at one point my breathing was restricted, and I gotta be honest. I think most doctors and most nurses are idiots. I don't like them. They're lethargic. They don't. It just doesn't seem like they know what they're doing, because I would sit there and I would push this button for them to come help me,
Yeah.
and they help me, and um, yeah, that is my nightmare. That's the only way I can really describe it. And I would throw everything up, so they had to put medicine in my butt. And
They had to keister your medicine?
I have to respect some of these nurses, man, because let me tell you, they perform some of the most vile tasks without making that scrunched up, that face of disgust. I hadn't showered in a week. I was sweaty. I was stinky. I probably had, poop back there. And they would pull my pants down, and they would just put medicine up there. I would scream every time, and they'd say they're like, well, you have a tight rectum. I'm like, no shit, I have a tight rectum.
I'm nervous.
Oh, because I'm swearing?
No. You would have been like, I'm nervous. You're keistering my medicine.
Yeah.
That's funny.
But
So,
ever since then, I just haven't felt it. And that's when my addiction problems have started, and they really haven't stopped. I'm seeing this one doctor right now who says I have Lyme disease, and I don't really believe it. I take the antibiotics, but it's like I have such anxiety that when I go to see them, I feel the need to let them know that I'm doing better, and that they're helping me, because I see this look. They get this look on their face, so does it, is it working? Are you, since I put you on this medicine, you should, feel better, and and they have this look of anticipation. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll go find somebody who sells benzos or something like that,
yeah.
and I'll buy one, and then before the doctor's appointment, I'll take a half of one, so I'm kind of normal, so it looks like I'm feeling better, because I feel so bad that it's like I'm letting these doctors down, and none of them seem to really know anything about benzodiazepam withdrawal, and they kind of deny it. This is across the field. Most doctors do, and I don't really know why. I don't think it's a conspiracy or anything like that. It's just it's relatively new, and it doesn't sound scary. Like Xanax, I should say benzodiazepams consist of Xanax, Klonopin, Valium. You ever heard of those?
Valium, yeah.
Yeah. or anything with a Pam at the end of it, like diazepam, clonazepam, diazepam, you know. But those drugs have the most dangerous withdrawals, along with alcohol.
Yeah, I think you told me that even your parents were unaware of the um, benzo withdrawals.
Yes, when you, well, you're supposed to wean off very, very, very slowly. Um, it's not like heroin or opiates, which you can just kind of cut cold turkey. I mean, even though it'll be miserable, it's not going to kill you. It's just gonna suck. With benzos, it is actually deadly. Benzos and alcohol, because since they slow the brain down, and your brain gets used to that, you take that away, and your brain doesn't know what to do. So it's over. Your brain has to work a lot harder when it's on alcohol and when it's on benzos, because it's counteracting the fact that it's slowing your brain down.
So,
It's
I'm sorry,
yeah.
go ahead.
But yeah, my parents, as soon as I got out, as soon as they took me off, they said, the best thing for me, just to go to work and and I'd say, like, I feel awful, and they didn't really listen. They said, kind of suck it up, go to work, and I ended up having a grand mal seizure at work one day, and I'm a roofer now, so.
Were
And the
you
doctors, they think I just like I talk to the doctors, and they think I just make it up, or that I'm just kind of complaining, and that I just one of those addicts who just want. But I just I want to feel normal, and the only way for me to feel normal now is if I find one of these pills, like, it takes me out of hell for a day, for a little while. But I would never do them again consistently, because I know what the consequences are. It's like you got to do it just every once in a while so you can get your head above water.
So, what advice would you have for someone suffering from who has anxiety?
So who suffers from what?
Anxiety.
Well, I don't know, because I think I'm unique. Like, most things for me don't work. Like even exercise, eating healthy, uh, going to sleep, getting up, but at the same time every day going to work, like, those don't alleviate my anxiety for some reason. Like, it almost feels like something has been knocked loose in my brain. So I don't think it'd be fair for me to tell somebody else ways to alleviate anxiety. I mean, I play head games with myself sometimes. Like, if something embarrassing happens to me, I think, I'm obsessing over this situation. I'm nervous over this situation, and I think, do you think the other person is as nervous, or is thinking about me, or this embarrassing situation that I'm in, as much as I am? And the answer is no. Most people forget about things. They're just quick. So if you say something stupid or do something stupid, which I do all the time, people aren't going to obsess on it as much as you do. Yeah.
Um, so, I had another question for you.
Yeah.
So, let's see. What do you do? What advice would you have for someone with anxiety? What would you do for someone who has depression? You said people are a lot safer getting drugs on the street than from a doctor. Dealers are a lot more knowledgeable than doctors, and it's safer. What did you mean by that?
Well, I mean, this part is a fact. This isn't an opinion. That the majority of drug-related deaths are not street drugs, illegal ones. They're the legal ones that people, either abuse, or they have doctors. I mean, just think, Michael Jackson, Heath Ledger, Whitney Houston. Most of those people died from legal, prescriptions. And quite frankly, since these doctors probably have never taken any of these drugs, they don't know what the side effects really are. I mean, it's easy to say, like, you look in a book, right, and you read about, the symptoms. This drug does this drug does this, and So, like for example, they'd prescribe me something, all right, and it would elevate my mood, and I would say it elevates my mood, and they would say, well, oh, well, no, no, it doesn't, because this drug actually depresses the mind, so therefore, but I'm telling you, it makes me, like I feel more alert. And they said, well, and they would tell me that I'm wrong, but like, how can I be wrong about, how I feel or what it does to me, like, and so it's like there's this discordance between, is that even a word?
Discord. Yeah.
Discord
Dissonance.
between,
Hmm.
yeah,
It's
between
discrepancy.
what things are on paper and what they actually do to you. And this is just in my experience, like it just seems like drug dealers know a lot more about the effects of drugs and what they really do, as opposed to some guy who just studies a book.
So Ben, is there any thing that you'd like to say to our viewers, or do you have any questions for me?
um you gotten laid yet?
Hey, that's none of your business, and that's none of their business.
What's really sad is ever since I quit drugs, I dried up, man. Like
I'm not sure that I'm familiar with that term.
it just means that, like, I mean, when I was on drugs, I would get girls all the time,
Why
and
why
now
was
I don't,
that? Why is that?
I don't know. Women like the bad guys, Like, you ever notice how the bad boys always get the girl? Well, I was on drugs. I would have that, that confidence, and then, so I could talk to women more easily. So I would have like a foothold in there, and then they'd find out about my drug problem, and it's kind of something to do, and I don't know. Nice guys finish last, man.
So Ben, is there anything that you'd like to say to our viewers?
Stay away from benzos, clonazepam, anything with a Pam at the end is fucking dangerous. You're much better off taking heroin.
Okay,
No,
so
that's not what I would. I don't know, man. I'm really, really, really just nervous, even talking to you right now. That's why I'm all over the place. I'll
well,
tell you what. I'll answer that. I'll answer that question when I've gotten better somehow, some way. Ask me that question again, and I'll give you a better answer.
okay, well, thanks for your time, Ben.
Thank you.